Hi.
Hello, Srinivas. Second year ki నేను క్లాస్ తీసుకుంటున్నాను. ఫస్ట్ ఇయర్ లో అంబటి శ్రీనివాస్ అని ఒక ఆయన జాయిన్ అవుతారు. మీకు ఆల్రెడీ జాయిన్ అయ్యారు. ఆయనకి స్క్రీన్ షేర్ అవ్వట్లేదంట. మీ నంబర్ ఇచ్చాను, ఆయన మీకు కాల్ చేస్తారండి. ఓకే ఓకే. I can see a lot of you here. Very happy to see you, all of you online. Almost I can see Sandhya, Hari, right? And yeah, a lot of people. Bhaskar, Ravali, Renu, Dhanalakshmi, Hari, Kalpana, Swarnalata, and Rekha. All unmute your videos. I want to see how many are here. How many are here?
21 members.
21 members. All of you, unmute your videos. Let me see how many of you are here. Yes. Hello. How are you, madam? Yeah, I can see Ravali, Narmada. I think a lot of new people. Yes. I think any. Oh, Daksha ma'am. I'm so happy to see you. And Santoshi. What about Hari? Madhu? Bhargavi, Rekha, Kalpana. Unmute your videos. I want to see all of you. Every Sunday we are, yeah, Rekha, how are you? Yes, I can see Narmada. Sandhya, yes, I think this is the first time you're coming online. No, okay, okay, great. Bhargavi, yeah, she's doing some work and still good. Please be here, and you're going to have every Saturday, Sunday 2 sessions. I shared the link also. You're going to be having 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Tomorrow morning, I'll give all the timings as well. Kindly listen to the lectures, and all the resource persons are going to be there. 6th paper, 7th paper, 8th paper, 9th and 10th papers. Okay, all 5 papers for second year. As well as if you have any backlogs you want to join, even first year classes are happening. If you want to listen, you can listen as per the web link and the number. It's not 1.5 hours, but it's only 1 hour sessions. Okay. Morning, it starts 10:30. See, 10:30. Are you listening? Is it my voice clear to all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We are listening.
Very good. Very good. So from 10:30 to 11:30 is the first session. That is on Indian writing in English. It's only 1 hour. Okay, 10:30 to 11:30. Do remember, go to the web link and get the password and get connected with your own name. Okay. Next, again, half an hour break is there. 12 to 1 o'clock. That means the second session. Again, 1:30 to 2:30. Again, half an hour break. 3 to 4 is the fourth paper. Half an hour break is there. Adelu, who is this? Please don't mute yourself. Don't unmute yourself. The lot of noise is coming. Okay. So we can see all of this. 1 second. I'm just getting a call and yeah. So the sessions are 1 second. Students are trying to reach us. I'm just telling you. Someone can post the link like Santoshi. I think Santoshi Kishore. 94414862281. That is what your. Yeah. Again, you post the Zoom ID because my number, I think something is.
Ma'am, that is 2286, ma'am. Posted 2386 last one. That's why I.
Yeah, 22. No, just tell me the number again. 2281, right?
Yes, ma'am.
2281. I'm posting that. Yeah, everyone is calling me directly so that they were unable to. Now is it correct? 2281, right? Yes, 2281 9941. Okay, let me go back to the class. So the first session is on first course will be from 10:30 to 11:30. Mr. Tirupati, I think he may not be able to take, but a new person is going to come and PPT is going to be there for you. From tomorrow, they'll be taking the classes again. And second comes Faziullah. Faziullah, today also, how many people were there for the Faziullah's class? How many are there? Just raise your hands. Raise your hands. Okay, yeah, I can understand. I think a lot of you are there. Then comes Deepa's class. And yes, I do know only 12 people are there. I was joining at that session. And now our class in the last session is Durga is going to be there. Okay. Yeah. So this is a session for, again, we are going to see a bird's eye view about Indian 9th paper, Indian English literature. Please take your textbooks. For all the sessions, I'm going to deal with the textbook. So please be, have the textbook in your hand so that it will be easy for you to go through. Okay. Yeah. Let me start the lesson without any delay. Take the lesson. I think the first introduction part, we have a thorough knowledge about what is the arrival of English and why English came to India and what kind of environment and all that. I think in the classroom we were able to do that. But the people who are first time listeners here, who are the newcomers? Nazira, are you there in the class? Parmesh, Sai Kumar, Swarnalata, Hari. I think now the number has gone to 28. A lot of people are here. Yeah. So let me go with the first, just an introduction about the Indian English literature. Is it my voice clear to all of you? If you find any difficulty, just let me know about that. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. You can. Yeah. See, the arrival of English in India. This is the first unit. Indian English literature. This is going to give a bird's eye view. Before independence, how English arrived in India and why early Indian prose in English. That is the first block 1. Comes R.K. Narayana, Raja Rao, 3 people, 3 big names. One is R.K. Narayan and Narayan. Next is Raja Rao. and another one is Mulk Rajanam. So we are dealing with two texts in the first block, Rajarau's Kantapura, which is very, very important. And the second one is R.K. Narayan's Dark Room. Okay, so the first block we are going to touch, and it's only a bird's eye view today and tomorrow, because only we are going to have 8 classes. Today I'm touching upon only the first block chapters. Okay, so after that we will be going for Indian poetry till independence. What happened before independence, Indian poetry and romantic period, and then comes 19th century poets, Henry de Rosier and Toru Dutt, and Aurobindo. Why Aurobindo is important, and what kind of poetry, whether it can be the freedom fighter. He is a freedom fighter, and after that he wrote a great epic called as Savitri. So we are reading Aurobindo in the second block as an unit 8. Okay, unit 9 deals with Sarojini Naidu. She is a great writer, poet and poetess, and she's a freedom fighter. What kind of poetry she wrote at that point of time, and what are the areas that she covered, we'll be trying to learn in this second block. Okay, coming to the third, because this is divided in 4 blocks. The first block is the introduction, and second block is Indian poetry till independence. Third blocks deal with Indian novel, because we started with poetry, then we go with the prose, fiction, and then the novel. Okay, so in the novel we are trying to see from 1950s to 60s and Indian women fiction, starting from Toru Dutt. Toru Dutt is a poetess, and what kind of poetry she wrote. This is before independence. After that we were able to see Sarojini Naidu even after the independence, like some examples from Bangle Sellers or some examples of Sarojini Naidu. Then comes the fiction point of view. So the Indian novel, it started with 3 Indian big names. We call them R.K. Narayan, Rajarau, and Mulk Rajanam. So women fiction and post-Indian novel. What is post-Indian novel? Why it is considered as post-Indian? And why it is called, what is the importance of that post, quote unquote post? Okay, the novel of Indian diaspora, people who migrated from Indian subcontinent to different world. So they started to have some nostalgic feeling, and they were trying to put the same thing and documenting in different forms. Name it like Meena Alexander or Jhumpa Lahiri, Amita Desai. So these are the people whom we see very clearly diaspora writing, and why it is important. If you see that from if you see from that point of view. Okay, the novel of Indian diaspora, and chapter 14, unit 14 deals with Rohinton balance. It's very, very important for us, because it gives geographical conditions, historical background is there in that, and why it is called a fine balance, and in what way, what is the perception of Rohinton mystery, we will be able to understand in block 3. Okay, block 4, the last one, but very, very important for us, because it is trying to see the drama, poetry, and also what is it? What are the themes and techniques of drama? Not only from Indian perspective, but modern Indian poetry, the themes and techniques, modern Indian poetry through the lenses of Nizam Ezekiel's poems, and again with A.K. Ramanujan, right? So these are all modern poets, and why they are called as modern poets and why it is called as modern poetry. We will be learning in unit 16, 17, and 18. 19th chapter deals with Mahesh Dattani, Final Solution. So it is about a drama. It's a drama. And the last is Indian women poetry. So it gives a holistic approach to all of us to understand Indian writing in English, starting from before independence. That means how English came to India, and period wise, then again genre wise, poetry, prose, fiction, drama, and the last but not the least, Please mute yourself in between. If you see any difficulty, just let me know. Okay. If you are unable to listen to me, or you are unable to get the connectivity, please let me know, because it is the class is from 3 to 4. And just going back to the first chapter, Arrival of English in India. Go to the page number, unit 1. What is the page number? Page number is 1 again. Okay. So page number 1, the objectives. About the Battle of Plassey in 1757, English East India Company became a political power, and it played a major role in the accession and succession problems of native kings, acquired taxation rights, and began installation of soldiers, tax collectors, and kingdoms across the subcontinent. While it retained its interest in trade, focus of company policy now included government, governance, administration, military, law and order, other such activities. Well, it was during the period 1770 to 1820 that the EIC's officers, EIC means East India Companies, okay, page number 1. If you have the textbook with you, please take that in your hands. It is page number 1. Is it clear for all of you? It is page number 1. Are you there with me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay. Yes. See, page number 1. So, East India Company officers need for strong police force and medical facilities for its people. Also, a team of natives who could assist them in governing India. Why they started English, teaching English and as a medium is because they need some kind of administrative requirement was there for the English Britishers, and so keeping that in view, for that sake, that is the reason that they started English education in India. 1835, Lord Macaulay, a distinguished scholar and a statesman, prepared a minutes of Indian education. He began by praising the English. See this book, take this book, okay? Take the book, page number 2. You can see the title, English Education and India, okay? See, in 1830, not going page by page, but I am going by theme, so that we are going to cover lot of information at the same time. I request all the students to read, get back to me in the class if you have any doubts, not only with me, but also with all the counselors, because morning first session to the last session, until the last session, all the counselors are there to help you out. Okay. So 1835, Lord Macaulay, a distinguished scholar and a statesman, prepared a minutes of Indian education. He began by praising the Indian language and culture, English language and culture. He then proceeded to argue that the writings in vernacular language such as Arabic, Sanskrit and Persian were essentially worthless, because we should try to see from which perspective they are going to be introducing English, because unless and until if you find any, unless and until they introduce English, it is no use for them, because they want to have some administrative help from the Indian people. And for the administrative process also, a lot of hands are required. That's the reason they started to have this kind of education, especially with English as medium. Okay. So the person whom we can see as Lord Macaulay units in 1835, he don't have any respect for the local languages, whether you consider it as, and they called it as vernacular. Vernacular means the root word is varna. Varna means colored. The language of the colored people. That means the colored who are inferior. So in that way, he don't have any respect for Sanskrit, Urdu or Parsi, because at that point of time, that languages are very, very popular in India. Going back, I mean, if you see 1800s and 1850s, Sanskrit played a vital role, and Arabic and Persian used to be the state languages of different kingdoms, small kingdoms in India. So he thought like these are not very important, and he thought like it is worthless. So he wanted to introduce English as a medium. Okay. And he recommended that the printing of Sanskrit and Arabic books must be stopped, because if they go on reading Sanskrit and Arabic, then it is difficult for them, for the new generation, to understand English. So he wanted to stop it. So it is a policy decision that they stop Sanskrit and Arabic, and learning the language to be ended. This minute was to prove one of the most influential documents of British India. And there was options for Micallef use, of course, most notably by Prinsep, but it would not prevent Macaulay's argument when winning the battle for English. So you can see how difficult it was for all the Indians to oppose 1835 Macaulay minutes, right? Macaulay is a one person who was very influential, and he thought like Indians should read English rather than Sanskrit or their native languages. So what are the important points that we can see in his minutes is the evidence and brief history in that language comes to India in the form of political project. See how personal becomes political. Language is also a tool to rule. See, it became a tool, because unless and until they wanted to impose their culture, their language, and last but not the least is religion as well. So we can see what is the influence of English policy makers, that they strongly oppose the natives and they got some other language which is not a native language for the Indian people. Creating hierarchies in society, white rulers versus brown rulers. Because 1835 means we still have kingdoms, different parts of Maratha kingdom was there, Delhi Sultanate was there, and lot of almost 360 different kinds of small and big kingdoms were there in India. So they don't want to have any kind of natives to rule their own place. They wanted to subordinate all the people. So there is a policy decision like white rulers. You can see page number 3. White rulers versus brown rulers. Who is the white people? I mean, who are the people who come under the white regime? Is Britishers, and brown is all the colored people. That means it can be from South India, whether it can be Marathas or Tamilians or from Andhra, Telangana, or from southern parts of Kerala. Any part of India, it is colored for them. They are only the people, they are white, and other people are colored, or you can call them as brown people, right? And forming power relations, those who know English versus who don't know. Even today we can see that, right? Who know English very well, who can manage the communication very well through English, and the other. Last point, but not the least, is developing instruments of power, such as administrative and judicial laws being written in English. Even today, when you back, why we are trying to learn English is for two reasons. Though it is not our native our mother tongue, it's not Telugu is our mother tongue for some people, Tamil is mother tongue, Kannada is mother tongue, or Malayalam, any for that matter. India has got almost more than 370 plus languages. That's a diversity, and that's rich language is there for us, right? Some are oral literatures are also there. But in spite of all that, Britishers thought is they cannot learn so many languages. So they started to rule the people in only one language. What is that language? What is that language? Are you with me? What is the language? I'm not going to teach you just like that. I want to ask you from your side as well. What English. Is their language?
English, ma'am.
English. Very good. English. Yeah. So that's the reason they started to have English. Okay. Next, English education and the natives. I think you all understand what is the importance of English and how it went on. After reading this lesson, you will be able to understand English language, therefore, as a necessary instrument of colonial rule and domination. See page number 5. There is always an objective for every lesson because this is self-learning material. Okay, SLM, we call it as SLM. That means self-learning material. So the first objectives and the last outcome should match for any student. Okay, what is the last outcome? After reading these lessons, you will be able to understand. What is that you are able to understand? English language, therefore, was necessary instrument to colonial rule and domination. The intention was, what is the intention of English people? To create clerks. That means for the administrative requirement, for the imperial services, and to teach natives English modes of thinking. Missionaries and educationalists helped the spread of English. English created a native elite culture, where those with access to English acquired social status and attained respectability. What is this? Very important. Even today, we think like people who speak English are intelligent. No, English is different from intelligence. Intelligence comes from your thinking process. English is only simple language, but there is a lot of reach. Yeah, Bhaskar, there is no point. Who is this Bhaskar? Can you please unmute yourself? Bhaskar, is this the first time? Bhaskar Rishikesh. Bhaskar, kindly unmute yourself and show up in the video. Bhaskar Rishikesh. Unmute yourself. See, because I think some kind of information they want. Definitely, Bhaskar. Bhaskar, are you there? Can you raise your hand? Bhaskar Rishikesh. Bhaskar, are you there? Yes, this is the person I'm asking you for. Are you there? Bhaskar, are you there? Yes, this is the first time you are listening to us. Okay, because it is difficult for many times it happens like, yeah, we'll just read whatever that is there in the textbook, we are going to make the PPTs. But I want a lot of interaction to happen in the classroom, so I'm not making it, okay? Yeah, who is this? Galaxy M12. Anita. Right? Anita, you should rename yourself, okay? It should not be Galaxy M12, okay? Rename yourself. No need for... you know, just rename yourself, Anita. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is so this please don't unmute. Amol Shinde, mute yourself. Mute yourself. Don't disturb the session. Amol Shinde, mute yourself. We are trying to do. Okay. Yes, let me go for the next unit. And we can see it was setting the tone for the first unit, and second unit again dealing with Indian prose and English. I'm just not rushing from one unit to the another unit, since we don't have time is a constraint for all of us. So I am just touching upon certain points. so that it can be easy for you while reading the textbook. Okay, don't go for secondary handmade materials, helpful materials which is coming under different names. Please do read the textbooks. Okay, yeah. The second unit, page number 6. I think all of you have got that with you. So this is related to Indian prose. In this, you'll be able to understand prose from 1850s and afterwards. What kind of prose was introduced in Indian English, and why it is important for Indian writing in English. Okay. So this unit introduces you to the first generation of Indian prose writers in English, whose works were introduced in 19th century to the early decades of 20th. The aim here is to provide a survey of kinds of writing the major authors, and that India produced in the early aftermath of arrival of Indian language in English. So after the introduction of the English, what kind of writing was introduced to the Indian people, and who wrote this kind of literature? Let us see in this chapter. And at the outset, Indian writing in English is only one among many forms that constitutes an Indian literature. Just because Indians are writing, it is not Indian literature. It is coming from different parts of India. Please do remember, that's what we are trying to see. Indian writing in English coexists with literatures like Telugu, Tamil, Bangla, Assamese, lot of literatures from different parts of India. For example, if the literature is coming from South India, you can see Tamil literature, Telugu literature, and Malayalam literature. Everything is from the native, there is a native touch over there. But in spite of all said and done, they are written in English. For example, R.K. Narayan's Rashipuram Krishnaswamy Narayan, R.K. Narayan's Malgudi Days. Where is it located? Who is very famous person in famous personality or protagonist in R.K. Narayan's short stories? Swami. Very good, Swami. And what is the fictionary place location? What is the location or fictionary place located? And what is the name of it? Malgudi. Yes, it is a South Indian small town or a village, which is very, very comfortable to identify with other people in South India, especially from Tamil Nadu or any South India for that matter, irrespective of the language, right? So R.K. Narayan's Malgudi Days, and when you see Untouchable from Mulk Raj Anand, again a very, very important aspect of the marginalized people can be very visible in the in the Mulk Raj Anand's Untouchable. So Baka is a character on those days where we can identify untouchability is rampant on those days in India. So these are certain kinds of social wills that were addressed by the Indians, not taking the English as such as a medium, but also content is completely Indian content, right? So we can see all that kind of information in the Indian writing in English. Okay. So introduction. Indian writing in English had its early moments in the prose, letters, and other forms of writing from the late 18th and early 19th century. The essay was preferred form for these writers, and their extended tracts, what is known as discursive prose, discussing colonialism, Indian religion, politics, and reform. So everything is coming under the prose. Remember, Malgudi Days is not only about Malgudi, but what is happening in and around, what is the political scenario, what kind of personalities we can see, and different kinds of characters that are portrayed in different novels and prose. We can see that clearly it is portraying Indian geographical, historical, and contextual importance of that particular land, right? So it shows Indian, what is that we can see in the Indian prose on those days is, these are very important. The prose of 19th century is important because it shows Indians grappling with the language. See page number 7, you can see what are, maybe I'll get one question stating like, what are the grappling issues of Indian writers in the early Indian prose or something like that, okay? So what is important for them is, it shows Indian grappling with the language. So grappling means it's very tough, or an issue that is incomplete, or it's constantly difficult issues that Indians faced is language, because it is not our mother tongue. And translation from Telugu to English or Hindi to English or Malayalam to English, there is always an influence of mother tongue, right? So language reveals their capacity to make highly sophisticated arguments in the language of the colonial matter. The 20th century Indian novelists in English, in fact, extend their expertise with the language, but we must give credit primarily to the earlier prose writers. So we can see that in spite of all the lacuna and grappling issues, they were able to deliver the content in a very, very effective way, right? Okay. So can someone read for me? Any one of you can read for me? Prose 1850s and after, page number 8. I can see 32 participants here. Yeah. Someone can read for me? 2.3, prose 1850s and after. If we are to consider the form of English writing during the 19th century. Yeah. Daksha, go ahead. Yeah.
If we were to consider the forms of Indian writing during the 19th century, we first need to understand the places of publications and the immediate context of the narratives. Much of what we see and know today as the prose of the 19th century were essentially speeches delivered by statesmen, reformers, and political figures. Though there are many who accompanied their speeches with written work as well, thus Indian prose, early Indian prose as we know today, is now included. Shall I continue, ma'am?
Yes, yes.
Speeches at political and social occasions that later appeared in print, biographies, autobiographies, and memoirs, travelogues, literary histories, economic histories, literary critical essays and writings, social and political commentaries, metaphysical essays, letters, lectures at formal gatherings, the parliament, courts of law, university, journalism. This last form was Gandhi's speciality. The topics of these speeches and commentaries were on diverse issues: spiritualism, education, women and reform, nationalism, economics, social change, Indian history and culture.
Yeah. See, we can see all the points here were covered. See, starting with how personal is political, how language is important, and second comes speeches at political and social occasions, because it is a freedom fighting, before the freedom movement. So a lot of speeches are political speeches and social occasions. Like you can see why this Vinayak Chauthi, that means Ganesh Chaturthi, started is because there is a lot of restrictions over the political parties. So in the name of religion, they started some political gatherings which under the guise of religion. So you can see a lot of things happen. Biographies, autobiographies, travelogue. So every genre you can see, it's not only from only poetry, only short stories, no. It was biography, autobiography, then a lot of travelogues. Travelogues means people who travel from one place to another place, and the record keeping of the travel, or maybe the nostalgic feeling, or whatever that they remember, good memories, bad memories, or their experiences. So that experiential knowledge is recorded, and that can be called as travelogue. And economic histories and literary critical essays, social and political commentaries, metaphysical essays, letters. So epistolary novels, we call it as, right? Epistolary means writing the novel or the fiction in the form of letters, okay? And spiritualism, what are the themes that are discussed? Different kinds of issues discussed is education, women and reform, nationalism, social change. So everything is very contemporary to that particular society. Please do remember, it is not about only one issue that the independence, only the independence, but it is about all walks of life. It is from all walks of life. Issues are discussed in English, not only, but issue may be very contemporary. Issue was contemporary at that time, or we can call whatever the burning topics were all covered through different forms of literature. It can be an autobiography, or it can be an autobiography, or other forms like what you call literary histories, economic histories, or metaphysical essays, whatever you name it, it is there. Okay. It is possible that Indian writers in English were more concerned with commentaries because they saw the role as instrument of social change rather than entertaining. So it was message oriented. Please do remember, all the poetry and prose that was before independence was message oriented. Maybe a transformation you can see, or a lot of information was given to you from different forms of sector, or it can be from very, very different perspective. Okay. Engalama. 1 second. Chappandi engavala? Yes. See, yeah, let us continue with the class. It's possible that Indian writers in English were more concerned with commentaries because they saw the role as instruments of social change. So it is not about only one perspective, but we can see there is a lot of things that are influencing the Indian writing in English. Okay. So you can see how spiritualism and metaphysical and Swami Vivekananda, Gopal Krishna Gokhale. See page number 10, you can see starting with Dadabhai Naoroji and Sir Syed Ahmad Khan, page number 10. You can see that? Yes, yes. So Dadabhai Naoroji, the first Indian to be elected for the British Parliament. Next comes Sir Syed Ahmad Khan. Next comes Swami Vivekananda. And then Gopal Krishna Gokhale, Rabindranath Tagore, Aravinda Ghosh. See, we are not giving complete picture of what happened on those days and what are the writings of that great personalities. But here we are touching upon it. So it is your responsibility of, for every student. Go back to your recommendation of what are the recommended books and recommended writings of that particular writer. And please do read thoroughly. You'll be enjoying the literature, not only from examination point of view, but also you'll be thoroughly enjoying the genres. Okay. So starting with Dadabhai Naoroji, Sir Syed Ahmad Khan, Swami Vivekananda, Gopal Krishna Gokhale, M.G. Ranade, Rabindranath Tagore, Aravinda Ghosh, and whom we call Sri Aurobindo, right? Sarojini Naidu. These lot of writers before independence, we can see their writings very, very prominent. Coming back to Mahatma Gandhi, his information regarding Hind Swaraj and his writings are very influential on those days. And it is important to understand Gandhi's writings constitute that we now call cultural criticism. So these are certain areas, and after reading the chapter, you'll be able to understand who are Indian prose writers of 19th and early 20th century, and their experiments with form which resulted in several genres such as autobiography, memoir, social and political commentaries, and travelogue. It is important to understand why Britishers gave that much of importance to English language, because they want their administrative, especially in the administrative point of view, it's important for them to have a smooth administration. To make their work effortless, they started English education in India. Okay, so coming to the unit 3, early 20th century, last 5 minutes is there for us. I'm not going in depth for this chapter, but I want all of you to see how it started with national and early Indian prose. What is realism, language and the novel, page number 14. Are you there with that? So it is important to understand Narayan, R.K. Narayan, Mulk Raj Anand, and who is Rao?
Raja Rao.
Raja Rao, very good. Began their writing career at height of nationalist movement. And what are the ideas that they included in their books are the whatever that they wrote is the nation, Indian culture, its variety, the meeting of East and West, the problems of poverty, caste and class in Indian society. So it is from all walks. I wanted to the representation of all walks of life. That means it is about caste, it is about religion, it is about nationalism. From every nook and corner of the society, the topics and issues were taken, and idealistically they were portrayed in their fiction, right? And there is also trying to show how English language could be utilized for their purposes. Was it possible to use English to talk about Indian realities? See, these are certain very, very grappling issues for us. Whether we were able to give that kind of a focus just because we know English, is there every word translated in English, or everything can be translated? So these are very, very important for even today. The translation is very tough because the Indian languages have got, every land has got its own unique nature. The culture has got its own unique nature. So whenever there is a difficulty, we may not be able to understand what are the pros and cons. So keeping that in view, you can see 20th century, there is a lot of change in 20th century fiction. Because again, Narayan tried to reconnect a microcosm of India to small towns. Right? Fictional small towns. Like for example, talking about universal categories. In other cases, he is seen as showing Malgudi as a metaphor for India itself. This is not an easy, as we shall see. The nation is constructed by first showing a microcosm of country itself. This achieves locality, community, and identity. When you see place, time, and what are the three units? Three unities we always think about: place. What are the three unities? You remember? Take some homework. What are three unities? Unity of time, unity of place, and unity of, what is the third one? Are you listening to me? I can see 31 participants here. Yeah, Narmada, you want to say something? What are three unities? Okay, just find out. Tomorrow I'll be asking this question for you. Okay. Same way, locality, identity. That is very clear from the R.K. Narayans and even Raja Rao's also. Locality is constructed by situating the tale in what could be functional as prototype of India, a suburban town and village or a city. So this is represented very clearly in all R.K. Narayans and R.K. Narayan's novels or the fiction, and even all the three people. It can be Raja Rao, Kantapura, or R.K. Narayan, Malgudi or another person whom we consider very, very important, right? So realism, language, and the novel, these three are prominent in this session, especially when it comes to three people, the nationalism, especially with nationalism. Realism works through the following technique in the early novelists: a close observation of life, a detailed catalogue of everyday action, a stylistic simplicity. See, these are some points that we can see. Very, very simple. It's not complex. It is not very, very rigid to understand, but simple and naive. So we can see this kind of style, writing style in all the writings of Indian novels. Thus, Rajarao and Narayan describes their setting and character. We get a feel of this because we think like these people are like our next door boy or next door girl or next door uncle or aunt, whom we know them, right? This kind of characters are very funny sometimes and very, very serious also. It's something kind of like satire and irony is in between. So we can see that kind of stories also in R.K. Narayan and Raja Rao's Kantapura as well, right? So Narayan and Raja Rao and Mulk Rajaman. So all the three people were able to portray India, a microcosm of India. It's not like it's something like a prototype. For example, you wanted to taste some food, you just take a piece of it, right? You want to taste one small, any sweet for that matter, or any food for that matter. We'll take one small piece of it, right? In the same way, if you read Raja Rao, or if you read R.K. Narayan, and if you read Anand, Mulk Raj Anand, you'll try to understand the geographical conditions, historical background, and the society, economic background of that particular society, and what kind of physical, psychological, and emotional interactions used to be there. So it's a very, very important to understand their fiction. All the three people are very important for us. Okay. So I think we are running out of time. Just last 5 minutes is there. Try to read this chapter. And after reading this chapter, you will be exploring the generation of Indian novelists in English, especially Narayan, Rao, and Anand. So these are the 3 chapters we were able to complete today. Tomorrow, again, I'll be meeting you at 3 o'clock. Please do come and join, not only for my class, but also for the other classes. So do you have any queries, or you want to say something for me, or any observations? Please let me know.
Thanks a lot, ma'am.
Thank you, Daksha. I can see all of you here, many of you here. I request all the people even to join online, okay? Ravali, yes. Santoshi, I'm very, very happy. Please do read, because only 1 month is there for all of us. And within this month, Rekha, I can see you. And someone want to unmute yourself, your videos, you can do that. Sandhya, are you there? Bhargavi, Divakar, unmute yourself, unmute your video. And you can see all of your friends here. And this is a Tejashwini. Yeah, I can see Tejashwini. Hari sir, how are you? Doing good, great. Where is Balaji? Balaji sir?
No, I don't know, madam. I'm unable to mute my video, ma'am.
Oh my God. Oh, isn't it? Okay, I think you can do that. Okay. So Hari is there, Swarna. Lily, are you there? Shantilata. I can see a lot of you. Please do read and come back to the class tomorrow morning. And 10 o'clock the class will start. Okay, the session will start at 10 o'clock. Is it okay? Okay, have a good day. Enjoy.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, read well and come back to
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
And join for 4:30 class. Last session is there at 4:30. Okay.
Thank you.
I will post the Zoom ID and link. And you have the web link, you can directly join as well.
Okay.
Okay, 4:30. 4:30, the last paper is there. Is it okay, Divakar?
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes. Thank you so much. Good evening.
Good evening, ma'am.
Sir, ఏమన్నారు?
ఏదో చెప్పండి అప్పుడు
पूरे काय सजाइन हो रहे बहन लोग 4:30 का अभी एक क्लास है
mass labor plus net bagging and selfing. Mass labor endukante weeding.
Amasi the sata sir.
Weeding second sowing mass adindu. Kan manam iyamu net bagging plus 6 mass plus 6 right. Net bagging and selfing every day 6 11th was
Sudhakar expecting that.
అయిపోయిన పేపర్
ఒక నిమిషం 6, 7, 8. సార్ 11th వరకు ఉందా సార్? 11th సెకండ్ సాటర్డే. అయిపోయింది సార్. అమ్మ సిద్ధ సార్.
నెట్ వాల్యూ అండ్ డేటా